Hello, and welcome to yet another entry in a Moto diary. It's February 2024. The season is kind of on the horizon, probably another 3 months or so, but well, it's February already. Yay, mid of February. So depending on the weather, you can start riding something like end of May or end of April. It all depends on weather. End of March or end of April, depending on the weather. And here in Lithuania, so winter time, no for riding, because even if it's above zero, it's still a lot of salt on the roads, and it's all kind of wet and humid, and it will get all over you and your bike, and it will rust, oxidate, and all subsequent consequences of that are not very great. So wintertime, bike in the garage. Well, this is the same R1200GS adventure as in my previous videos, if you watch them. Same bike which I used for my trip to, well, from Vilnius to Tonon-les-Bains, down Route des Grands Alps to Monton, and then back to Vilnius from there, 5,400 kilometers, riding almost every day. So I had only one day without any riding, just resting, and it was in like closer to Tonon-les-Bains, where I just spent a whole day because I had trouble with navigation. It's all in my videos where, in any case, so what kind of conclusions or improvements, let's say, conclusions for improvements I gained from that trip. So, first of all, of course, because the season is on the horizon, I will do a service. So I'm gonna change the oil and the oil filter in the engine. I'm gonna change the air filter, already bought all of that. I'm gonna change the oil in the final drive over there, 170 milliliters in there. And at some point, like it's 16,000 kilometers on a bike. At 20,000, it's due to for the valve adjustment and how is it called? Is it like something like a phase, whatever, check? And basically what it is you just realign the valves, you realign the camshafts, so we would push on valves at the right time, because your timing chain is getting longer with the use, and because the sliders are getting worn out, chain sliders in the engine getting worn out, so the camshaft may shift a little bit, so the phases would not be ideal, and so that is what this service is for. So untighten the screws, change the position of the inlet and exhaust camshafts, and check the valve clearance, replace the whatever shims on the valves if necessary. I wanted to do that service myself. I ordered special tools, probably somewhere in September or October last year. Still waiting for them. Apparently there is some sort of a problem with manufacturing new parts, so some of the parts are missing, so I don't get the whole order yet assembled at the local BMW, and it's not really clear when exactly that is going to happen. It's probably end of summer this year, but it looks like I'm gonna do more than 4,000 kilometers by then. So it will be a question either to just ride it like this, which probably will be fine for now, I don't know, up to like 30,000, shouldn't break anything, or bring it to local BMW dealership to do the work, which I don't really trust them. So it's kind of, I had the issues with them before, many different ones, from small to big ones, and I'm kind of afraid because this bike is so great right now. It's actually quite perfect, I would say. Everything works just fine, and I'm so freaking afraid that we're gonna break something in it, and then it will be pain in the ass for the rest of its life. Or maybe they don't, I don't know. Maybe in the last few years it's all changed drastically and everything is just, we do just everything perfectly right now. I don't know, whatever, but well, we shall see. We'll need to make a decision in the next 4,000 kilometers for this bike. Yeah, so regarding what improvements I would like to make. So I already have some aftermarket, well, not really aftermarket, BMW option part stuff like this. Additional cylinder head cover protectors and etc. But practicality wise, two things I think needs to be changed. So one is the seat. Again, I was doing like in my trip total 8 days, 8 days riding actually, and I was riding from morning to evening every day, sometimes to like even to like after midnight in some cases. So I had like 3 runs about like 1,000 kilometers long, I think, something like that. Actually, well, the last run was 1,400. Before that it was around 1,000, and on the way to Nonetheless Bains, again, one run something 800 something kilometers, and now probably 1,000 something or close to that. In any case, that is that, and on the Route des Grands Alps every day around 350 kilometers. It's actually, the route length is 720 something, but because I have been like going back and forth because I couldn't find a hotel which would be on my way, like straight, like driving down, so I had to return a few times, and returning in the Alps and then next day driving back the same distance, it's kind of painful, so it takes time, and it's, yeah, so I guess approximately, let's say 350 kilometers a day, which usually would take from about what, 9-10 o'clock in the morning, sometimes a little bit earlier, to about 6 p.m. where this is the time where I was finding, like trying to find a hotel, and then again, depending on where I could find a hotel, it probably could be plus an hour or so. So by 7 or something, 7:30. So yeah, morning to evening pretty much, as I said. And sometimes, like on the way to Vilnius, I arrived at like after midnight. Don't recall exactly, but it's quite late, actually. Well, in any case, conclusion. So the seat comfort on this bike is kind of okay-ish, but if you're doing this type of, I wouldn't call it too extreme, but kind of extreme-ish riding, you know, 5,400 kilometers in 7 days, it's kind of shows. So the seat, really, I think I need a better seat, and I already ordered a Wunderlicht seat. Well, I ordered 2 like passenger and rider seats because, well, just for the looks, I guess. Of course, I don't really use a passenger seat a lot or at all, except for like my back sitting wear on it, but for the looks. But the rider seat is definitely could be better. The problem with this one, so I always set it the front of a seat in a high position, and rear of a seat in a low position. I try to ride it like on the same level, like front and rear in a low and front and rear in a high, and in that configuration, after like 100, maybe 200 kilometers, my back starts to hurt because I have hesitated discs in my spine, and yeah, I just couldn't tolerate that. So with a front in a high and rear in a low, now 1,400 kilometers is not a problem. Riding for a week every day, not a problem. It just especially on the last run, it still feels like, due to maybe with how the cushioning is made for the seat, it feels like you're sliding forward all the time on this bike. Maybe it's due to the damping as well, you know, it just kind of kicks you in the butt a little bit and makes you slide forward because of that. And it's like subtle thing, you don't really like feel it too much, but that sensation of you moving forward all the time is there. And when you slide forward, like your jeans kind of in friction with the seat cover, so it started to like kind of move back and pull your hairs from your legs and ass, which is not a great sensation. So on that last run from Germany to Vilnius, I've been using my knees, you know, just pushing them against the fuel tank and holding myself in a position just like that, so to relieve the pain in my, you know where. And so, yeah, I thought, okay, so better seat. So I did check online and some reviews, not really conclusive, but decided on the Wunderlich. We shall see. And I ordered the Wunderlich. We have 3 options for the rider seat. We have low, well, we have heated, non-heated, doesn't matter. So I ordered non-heated, the standard one. I never wanted to, I never like needed seat to be heated, to be honest, never had that problem. So I ordered non-heated, just a standard non-heated, and we had 3 heights, so low, medium, and normal, low, and high. So based on the explanation of their website, the high version, and you can see what even here, like the seat on the adventure bike is actually higher, there's more cushioning comparing to the standard GS seat, so it's a little bit higher. So the high option they had is 5 millimeters higher than this one, which is about like the same, because the standard option would be 20 millimeters lower, and I don't like that because I want my knees to be quite like as straight as possible when I sit on a bike on long journeys. My legs is quite long, so I don't have any problem reaching to the ground at a standstill. So I decided to go with a high option, so to relieve my knees a little bit more. So that seat looks like it's kind of already made to be more kind of leveled, and well, I need to test it and see how that works. Let's hope it will be all right. Yeah, that's one thing. Again, it's not terrible, this seat as it is. It has this, as I said, I want to eliminate that feeling of like sliding forward on it all the time. And it's not like, so pants stays on the seat, but my body within a motorcycle riding jeans, let's say, my body sliding forward, and I don't like that because, well, I have hairy legs and it hurts. So yeah, that's one thing. Second thing is regarding the brakes. Don't recall, was it on the second or third day of riding in the Alps on the serpentine roads going downhill, you need to often do this 180 degrees turns, and if you're using like engine braking downhill to save the brakes, not to overheat them, before every turn on the serpentine road you need to brake anyway, because sometimes they're extremely tight, and it's not just a turn, it turn with, let's say, a height differentiation at the same time. So you cannot go really fast in there, so you need to actually brake. And so I think I overheated my front brakes, and specifically this disc, so I start hearing my brakes, as I said, on second or third day, when they get hot, it started to do like this when braking. And I noticed on the brake discs, and they've been like a little bit kind of bluish. Right now that blue tint worn out, I guess, after Autobahn run towards Vilnius and, you know, riding here in Vilnius at the end of last season. But I still have this, you see, spots like this, and they're kind of periodic. This, here, and yeah, here. It depends on the angle of the light, but you can actually figure them out. And they go around the whole brake disc like that, and it's only this one, so the right side front brake disc, so left one is fine. And I think this is what is causing that noise. I didn't actually feel any of like a brake fade. It's just very uncomfortable to like, not very, how to say, pleasant to hear that, like something is wrong with the brakes. So I decided to upgrade the brakes, everything, like rotors, brake pads, front and rear. So I had no problems with the rear, but I'm gonna do it anyway just to match front and rear. So this is what I ordered. So Brembo ORO series discs. So this one, let's see, this is the front one. The difference between this and standard is what these are 5 millimeters thickness. They're a little bit heavier than standard. Let's see. Yeah, so that's a standard. It's Brembo as well, you can see, but this one is a little bit more robust, I think. This is at least how it looks like and feels. And my hope is what this will solve. It's actually a little bit feels like a little bit bigger too. Yeah, probably no, it's actually the same. It's the inner diameter, the inside, like distance in here is actually a little bit thicker, I think, as well. In any case, Aura should be good enough to solve that problem with warping of a brake disc as I had on those serpentine roads there. I trust in Brembo. I think it's a great brand for brakes. So these discs specifically, so let's check a model. Yeah, it's right here, 16B407D6. So these ones are coming with a mounting. So see, it's right here because the brake disc is thicker. So we need to have a little bit different floating. Oh crap! One sec. Here we go. A little bit different spacers. These are made from stainless steel. I think I noticed this. But here I have only 5 of these kind of bent washers, and they, by the instructions, supposed to be installed on the outer side only. So the disc will be, so the brake disc will be sitting against those bigger ones, right, against the rim. So those will be against the rim, when the brake disc against them, when the washer, bent washer on one side. It means that the brake disc can only actually kind of float this way, but not towards the rim, I guess. So that's the thing. On a BMW discs, so those are 5 millimeters wide, and these are 4.5 millimeters wide. So BMW disc will actually go both ways, so you can see those bent washers on both sides, which probably better. But we shall see. Brembo, they are not stupid guys, quite smart, making great brakes. Maybe this will make sense. We shall see. But a little bit worried about this, because it's not, well, deviation from the standard design is not great anyway. But we shall see. Maybe this will be even better. Maybe this is what it, what it was needed for the best performance. So that was the front. So one sec, I'll put it back. Let's find the rear brake disc. So it's front. Yeah, this one, 276 millimeters. So that's the rear. So fronts are 305 and the rear 276. So let's get it out. That's the rear brake disc, same ORO series. 5 millimeters thickness. And I think that's the same thickness as on the standard one, also 5 millimeters. Anyway, I'm gonna swap it, so I'll have ORO front and rear. If it works very well, then I'll swap, because I have 2 sets of tires, right? I have like this cast aluminum rims for road, with road tires, and I have spoked wheels, so spoked rims, for the off-road, with off-road tires mounted on them. And so these ones are still standard. And yeah, if those work well, I'm gonna swap these ones as well to ORO. So brake pads, ideally you need to have 2 sets of front brake pads for each for each set of tires, and when you mark them, like left side, right side, inner part, outer part, in that case you can swap parts altogether with the wheels, and your braking performance will be ideal. You don't need to wait like for 200 kilometers or so before it, or maybe a bit less, but before it gets perfect, you know, because every disc is a little bit different, bit different grooves and stuff like that. So it takes time for the part to be perfectly, you know, matching with all the disc kind of grooving and so on and so forth. But that's for the future. So in terms of parts, so I ordered as well. So right now I have a standard parts. So the front parts are original as they came from the factory. The rear one, so the rear set of parts I set after I returned from my trip from this Route des Grands Alps, because they've been kind of worn off. So the rear, because it's integral brakes, rear does a lot of work on this bike. You brake just with the front, but it brakes both tires, and because the front has 2 discs and actually 4 parts, and the rear only has like a smaller diameter 1 disc and only 2 parts, so it gets more heat. And because the front is not diving, it's quite a lot of weight in the rear as well, so rear braking is quite efficient on this bike as well. So I had to swap it. So right now it's all BMW standard parts in the rear, so front and rear. Front is still very much okay. Rear was worn off, so it's a new parts in there. Which I replaced, well, almost new, probably like a month riding after replacement. But this is what I got. So this is sintered parts. So the rear is, this is supposed to be SP compound. Yeah, that's number 07BB03SP. Red in color, racing, plus 100 horsepower immediately, right? Sure. And these are the fronts, so also sintered, and these are SA compound. So this is what I got. I think based on the description from Brembo, this is what I need, I think. Because I don't need a sport brake pads, because they don't really work very well in cold conditions. My choice for super sport motorcycles is SC compound, but they don't make SC for these calipers for some reason. Otherwise I would have been still getting SC for the front, but we only had SA and LA. LA compound is a little bit more, how to say, has a little bit more longevity, so it will last, as they say, about 30% longer than SA, but that means that the disc will last less. Because if a part stays at the same friction coefficient, then somebody needs to give. If it's not a pad, then it will be a brake disc. And I don't want that, because discs are more expensive. Yeah, so that's a story. What else? Well, nothing much else really. I like this bike still very much. It gave me a hell lot of great days on that Route des Grands Alps. And all the trip, you know, from Lithuania, Vilnius, to Poland, to Germany, to Switzerland, and then France, and then from France, I think I went back through Italy and then Switzerland. I think this is what I did. Yeah, Italy, Switzerland, and then Germany, and then Poland and Lithuania. Yeah, it works well. Nothing is too broken so far, and that's why I like it so much. It works perfectly. And now I think what I would like to do for the new season, I want to replace with Michelin Road 6 tires, even though, so they did in my case about 10,000 kilometers. There is still some meat left in them, so they could probably go for another 5,000-6,000 depending on riding style and how hot it is and the speed and all the rest, because they actually got really worn because of the high speeds on the motorways and autobahns especially. But that's not the main thing. As you can see, I have quite a big chicken strips in here, right? So the grippiest part of a tire is not used. Even though I was kind of leaning this bike quite a lot and deep on the serpentine roads were in Alps. But if you look at the tire profile, let me show you how, in my opinion, a tire is supposed to look like. So this is a super sport tire. You see the profile, it looks like a neck, the top side, top half of a neck, right? And when you here on the side, it's very predictable. It goes just like that. So bike kind of, you lean it and it just lays down there and sits there. Great. So for this Michelin Road 6 tires, at least for the GS size, they have this weird profile. And of course it's squared out a little bit, but that's not a big deal. The deal is here. When it comes to the side, here, it's like a sharp turn. Let me pull it a little bit back. And then it kind of disappears completely. So this side where I have chicken strips, you don't even see it from here. Look, the angle is freaking extreme. Just look at that. So how you're supposed to get your GS to this point? Well, maybe there are people who can do it. I definitely can't. And so because of this kind of a steep profile change from almost nothing to extreme lean, then I think this is why we feel kind of weird in the turns. It's not like we're losing grip or something. It's just the feel from the bike is weird. When you're in a turn, you don't feel it kind of settles there. So you lean a bike and it's just, you don't feel like it's kind of leaned and here you are. It feels like it's freaking like unclear what it's doing, I guess. This, I don't know how good that description is. And because of that, I didn't like them. The grip was kind of alright, but it just like this weird, and stability is great. So 216 kilometers an hour by GPS, this is what I did maximum. I think this is where the bike is limited by electronic aids. So 216 by GPS, that's the maximum I could get out of it. But yeah, I had no issues with stability whatsoever. It was just going straight. In terms of like not wobbling, no nothing, just nothing, it just goes. But this freaking rear tire and unclear kind of handling in the turns, this is what I don't like. That's why I want to replace them. And I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do about it, because there are many options which are unknown to me completely. I never tried those tires. There's a Pirelli Angel GTs, some say are good. And there are some, Touran's Next. This is the only option I tried already on my trip to Monte Carlo and back in 2019. So yeah, so Touran's Next 2 right now, it's a new model. So those tires I know they were quite good in the turns. But I think for the road I don't need any of off-road capabilities at all, so I can go more kind of a sport touring-ish, not like a little kind of a gravel tires. So I'm not sure what to go for. I know that there are Dunlop Sport Smart TTs available now in the 19-inch front as well, but I'm not sure what kind of mileage I would expect from them, because I need at least like 10,000. If they would be good for 10,000 kilometers, then it will be good enough for me, but I'm not sure. There are also some options from was it Continental or something? Anyway, there is a tire called something 9RR. Don't recall who is the manufacturer. And on that also seems to be quite an interesting maybe choice. More kind of a sporty, more like a closer to, I don't know, fast sport touring bikes option, or on-road super sport. Because GS handles well, but because of that you can actually feel a lot in terms of the tires, like how, like putting a different, like when I had a GS and when I put on, was it like Pirelli Rally, I think, not the STR but normal rallies, like with big spikes, it handled like terrible. and yeah, and it's like a Karoo free, for example, tires make it not handle very well as well. So this, what I have for off-road with Aniki Wilds, they do handle well on-road and off-road as well. The only weak spot for them is deep sand, but that's not too big of a trouble. It's like a little bit worse, but not that bad. All the rest they handle really well. So my hope was for this Road 6 that it will be again, not like I like Michelin's more than the rest, it's just I had a hope what, based again on reviews, and we all know what most of the reviews are just pure bullshit, kind of sell more stuff nowadays, but yeah, I had big hopes for them, but they not to my taste at least. Maybe you have great experience with them, I don't care. As I said, experience at a high lean angle is not what I would expect. I know what this bike can do better, even on, let's say, with Turan's Next tires. I had much better experience at lean than with these ones. So yeah, I guess that is what's coming. So the seat's supposed to be arriving maybe tomorrow or day after. So I'll post a video about them as well, a little like additional entry in the Moto diary. Of course I would not be able to test them fully, but at least I can put them in, measure how I can reach the ground, and sit on the bike, right in the garage back and forth in the corridor and see if I like it at all. And I will check, do I really need to put a front in a high position, or it will be good enough when both sides, like front and rear of a front seat, are in the same high or low position. Maybe it will be perfect even then, which would be cool, I guess. Yeah, so that's the deal. I hope this information is useful, and we shall see how it all comes together. The thing is, why I didn't replace the brake rotors yet is because I'm waiting for the bolts. So BMW manual states that you need to replace the bolts when replacing the brake discs, both front and rear, because they are some micro encapsulated locking, whatever. So I'll just gonna follow that to the letter and just do that. So I'm waiting for the bolts. Ordered them today because the brake discs and parts, they arrived too quickly. I didn't expect them to be here that quick. But in any case, and again, I ordered those from Moto Shop, a KTM dealer here in Lithuania, Vilnius. Really nice guys, and I ordered them yesterday, and today they arrived. So imagine that. Very, very nice. So yeah, that's the thing. Great bike, like it a lot. Can I recommend still after all this, like 16? Well, I did actually less than 16. I did like 10 because it had already like 5 on it, something like that when I bought it. Can I still, but big trip, so can I recommend it? Yes, I can. With all these additional things which you just heard. I mean, again, the seat and the brake discs change is not mandatory. It's just if you're riding it intensively. Again, maybe that brake disc became like that just because it had some factory, like manufacturing defect in it. And so it worked in that weird way, because the left side disc is fine. And I don't know. I never had anything like that happen to me before. This is the first time on a GS, I mean, and this is my third GS. So maybe it was just a shitty brake disc, I don't know. But I think upgrading to a little bit thicker ones not gonna hurt anyway. And it's Brembo ORO. So should be great. No some, yeah. SA front and SP rear brake pads. Let's compare them to the standard BMW pads. Maybe they will be better, maybe they will be worse. If they are worse, then I'll just stick back to the BMW original pads then. That's it. Again, if because of this different mounting construction which I showed, for the floating part of a disc, like if that causing any trouble, and again, it's a big question. Maybe I just gonna throw away those Brembo discs in the trash, and I'll just use the you know, with BMW standard ones, I'll just replace with a standard equipment, and maybe that will be just great. I don't know, we shall see, right? But again, with Brembo, my expectation will be that it will be actually better than it is now. But we shall see, we shall see. Okay, so thanks a lot for watching this, and have a great day. Bye bye.